24 weeks to Madiera. I'm being in from the St Isaac Meeting pub here in Cambridge, with a little bit of background noise here, and a bit of an update and recap from the East Anglian League first meeting. And obviously this is the end of our next 3-month block on road to the 2025 European Masters Championships in Madiera, Portugal, in athletics, and my journey as a returning senior, soon-to-be Masters athlete, trying to get back into my top form and my victories and struggles along the way. So really overall quite a positive day today. It's been a difficult 3 months as you're well aware on the diary, and it's really important at this point. We're not quite at the end of April to 27th. There's still 3 days to go, but really at this point it's important to go back and look at my diary. So this is my annual diary here, featuring Rembrandt, and on Woensdag, the 30th of April, my goal was to meet the NCAA Division 3 roster standard for any event as my first goal. My second, to complete an indoor heptathlon in UK athletics standards competition, and the third one is to get a Wilks coefficient of 300. So straight off the bat, I don't think I'm actually technically going to meet any of these goals. Obviously the temptation when you're not going to meet one of your goals is to then say, right, well, let's change the goal close to the deadline in order so that you kind of just make it. But it's not quite as bad as that. I will actually have done an indoor heptathlon, but just not to kind of outdoor, the kind of UK athletics standards, partly because of 1,000 metres, which is a distance that's almost exclusively run as part of the indoor heptathlon, isn't really run much. So my main option to run that is just to do like a time trial, like hand timed, out on the track with coach, which we're probably going to do on Tuesday. So that's still to come. But otherwise, I will be meeting that standard. I will be meeting that goal, and then so that was the only goal that wasn't kind of performance based. It was more just ticking the box and putting in the effort. The other two were performance based. The Wilks coefficient of 300, and the individual university standards. I don't think I'm going to meet either of those, or I've not met either of those essentially. The Wilks coefficient, I wasn't too far off it with a coefficient of 256, and with the lifts I've done, given the fact that I lost a little bit of weight as well, maybe gained some strength, I might actually be closer to 300, but probably not quite at 300. So I'm still weighing up whether I will actually go into the gym and measure those again. But the goal for the next few weeks, I'm not going to get sucked into my goals quite just yet, but the next few weeks will involve me finishing off the powerlifting programme that I've been doing. There's another 4 workouts on that I'll see off over. They'll tick off for 4 weeks. But I'm not going to meet this 300 mark. I think that's just beyond me, and I'd have to train exclusively for that. I think I could do it. I could have done it within these 3 months, especially if there'd not been as much stress at work, but not alongside the sprint training and the multi-events training. So that goal is something that I'm just going to park. And so there's actually 2 performance-based goals, and obviously the first 3 months I had 1 performance-based goal and then 2 other goals that were just kind of, I knew I could do them if I put the time in. I think it's appropriate to set 2 performance-based goals, but I don't think they were the right ones, or at least the powerlifting one wasn't. Now, really importantly, this NCAA Division 3 roster standard. So this is a fairly high standard for someone that's not been training for a while, but would be a kind of a good standard really to be part of a university team. I think one of the reasons, so the theme for this 3 month block was to make the team. So there's still a small chance I could do that if I was to suddenly get a great score in the 1,000 metres, but that's not likely. Partly because there isn't actually a standard for the 1,000 metres. So what happened today? I ran the 100, 200, the 110 hurdles, shot put, high jump, and a relay. So 6 events, more events than really I would ever do even in a decathlon. So it was a bit much to say the least, and it was a really hot day. Wee bit of sunstroke, definitely got some kind of burnt tissue. So overall, very positive. We started out with so we started out with the 110 hurdles. We brought our personal best down from 19.93 to 19.3. So that was good. So we're getting closer. I didn't manage to complete all of the hurdles with the 4 steps in between. So that was a bit disappointing. I just ran out of steam at the very last hurdle. I had to do a stutter step and jump into that just to make sure I cleared it rather than clattered the last hurdle, which, to be honest, a couple of other guys that were running it, including another multi-eventer that was doing his first senior hurdles, didn't actually finish it. So the fact that I actually finished it was good. It wasn't the 18-second mark, which is the Masters merit standard, and it definitely wasn't the 17-second mark, which is the NCAA Division 3 roster standard. So slightly disappointed in that. I think it's true that if I could complete this straight the way through, then I could get close to that. I could be under 18 seconds. So overall, technically a positive, but there was a chance today it would all just come together beautifully. So that was the 110 hurdles. I then moved on to the shot, and we threw an easy big PB of 9 metres 89. So that's much more like what I was throwing in training. The previous mark of 8 metres 40 that I'd thrown indoors was, I just hadn't really connected on that. And just talking to the shot put coach afterwards, I was just like, I felt like I'd really actually just connected. It all just kind of worked. I was able to use the strength that I have. This is the thing with the technique. I feel like I've got more strength than I can actually apply to the shot because I don't have the technique down. And just looking at some of the guys that were throwing, I'm like, I know I'm no more powerful than you. But yeah, obviously I need to kind of get up to speed, so I can easily throw over 10 metres. I think that Masters merit standard's there in competition soon, and I kind of got away with not doing too many shot put sessions. I did do one this week on Thursday. Really didn't have much strength on Thursday. Really tired from work. I just went down to the track and did a shot session, and I think that really helped. So that was really positive. And I think just across the new field events, like the high jump, long jump and stuff, I think I know in my bones how good I am at these. I know how high I can jump, or I know that I should be where I should be. And I think with the high jump and the shot, I now have got marks that I feel are more commensurate with what I feel inside. That's yet to follow in the pole and the long jump. So that was positive. Then we went into the high jump. We went into the 100. 100 wasn't as explosive as I'd hoped. It was hand timed, 12.1 seconds. The first time I've run 100 metres out with 12 seconds. Don't know what the wind was doing. I'd run previous high 11s with backwind, with tailwind. So I've probably run the equivalent of about that before in the past in the universities, but I've just always had a wind that's helped me along. So that's again inside the British Masters merit standard of 12.2. So Even with when it's hand times, you have to kind of add on half a second or something to because of the error, the standard error. Definitely disappointed not to be under 12 seconds to some extent, because this is supposed to be my best event. But I think I do have to be patient. I've not done a lot of training in the 100 yet. So that was the 100, then we went into the high jump. I kind of bombed the high jump, to be honest. You know, I jumped 150 last time, and then having previously jumped 160, and then it was only 145 today. So I was going up like 145, 155, 165. So I was aiming for 165, and then 155. I just started to extend my run up, and I didn't really connect. And then the third one, I kind of stuttered, and my studs kind of caught in the ground and actually went right through the bar, like, and kind of like headbutted it. So yeah, we had to kind of wipe that from our memory. But yeah, I just feel there's much more there with the high jump, to be honest. I think 160 is only the beginning, really, because I did that with like a six pound run up, and all the guys there were, you know, doing 8-10 more steps. So yeah, disappointed. And then we had 200 meters, and actually I was quite happy with that. So we ran 24:4. I felt really slow. I felt like it was a 400 meters. I was away on the outside. Didn't manage to get past before the straight, which was good. Sometimes you're running around the bend and people are already past you on the bend, and you're like, you're not supposed to be going past me yet until later. So I managed to hold that, and 24:4, that's half a second within the British Masters standard, and it's where I was when I started running outdoors the very start of university, so I'm still not back to where I was before. But yeah, that was very positive. And then finally we ran in the relay race. I was flipped from being the last in the relay to the first, which was a strategic team decision. And yeah, managed to somehow put together a good bend in that first bend, but and we put together a good team, including, it was an 800 metre runner that was filling a leg in for us, but unfortunately the gentleman on the last 100 left far too early and had to come to a standing stop to collect the baton before going back in. We just narrowly missed out on the victory there with a different athletics club. So yeah, really good team element, really good alongside Conrad Winters, who's one of the decathletes. Is part of our club, and he's got a scholarship to a D1 university in the States, so he's obviously already at national, really elite level. So just being alongside him and the whole process was really great. I mean, this gent's like 10 years younger than me, and yeah, I was just learning from him. It was good. So yeah, positives from that. He's actually leaving in like August or something, so it's only going to be a short period of time where we're really going to be training similarly, but that's going to be really good to train with him. So one of the things that this goal of meeting an individual team standard was to see if I was good enough to make a team in my own right, and I've not managed to do that. So there's technically an argument to be made for just focusing on decathlon now, and saying actually there's no individual event where I would make a Division 3 American university team, whereas across the board there's already, we'll see what it looks like on Tuesday when we add up all the scores, but there's already a score that would make that standard. Potentially, really, it's kind of on a par with that standard already in the decathlon. So I'm going to give it another few days. I'm going to talk to coach. This was the big kind of decision point at the end of April, start of May. Are we going to focus purely on a couple of events or just decathlon? My heart, I think, is leaning towards the decathlon. I didn't really get the solid training block in the sprints that I wanted, but So I can't really trust the fact that I've not had the sprint performances that I was looking for. But if that was the case, if I've not really performed in the sprints, then the indication is that I'm performing well enough across the board in decathlon, and that's where I can make the biggest strides. So 15 minutes in, peace out, touch base this week, and onwards and upwards. Here comes Madiera.